got them cut up and prepared, ready for turning. So let's just have a look at these. One of the ways of telling what the wood's going to be like when you turn it is to wet it. Okay, so we're going to wet each one, wet the surfaces, and we'll be able to read it. Yeah, reading a ball blank, whether it's a natural edge or whatever, you always read it from the edge. You can look inside. Okay, the surfaces just tells you on the inside what's on the inside. So if you always look at the edge, you can see into a piece of wood. So this is just alcohol. It dries quick, and that. Okay, it's pretty. I thought it had bleached out, but actually that's not too bad at all. However, I'm looking at this. I've got voids in here, void there, or a bit of a branch here. There's branches coming all the way in there. That's going to be an interesting piece. However, I'm not sure how much of this would hold. So put that to one side. Have a look at this one. Right, now this one's got. Okay, I've crossed that. This one's got a lot more of the cat paw, what I would call a cat paw burr. You can see it especially here. These nice little tight cat paws. So I'm going to turn this one. It's going to be interesting in that we've got one high side on there. We're going to be cutting and missing. Speed's going to make a difference on this. There's not so many voids in it. There's one there. I'm hoping it'll turn out. If it doesn't, it'll be a feature on the side of it. Let's just get into it and see what happens. Now then, the way I'm going to mount it, I wouldn't normally use a step center to turn wet pieces of wood. The reason being that these teeth are not long enough, and on wet wood, they can, if they don't bite in well, they can start to drill a hole as you're turning, and it does. It drills a hole. You lose the grip. However, this is bone dry. I know this was a root burl dug up out of a guy's garden. Oh my God, maybe 5 years ago, and it was dead. It's been dead for years, so I know this is bone dry. So what I'm going to do, in order to get that in the right place, first of all, I want to carve some of this away, okay? And then I'm going to drill a hole, because I want that step center to go into a hole. I don't want it kind of just half on the wood, half off. That's dangerous. When you're turning bits like this, you need to exercise caution and make sure that they're not going to come out. So if I drill a hole, and that step end goes into the hole, there's no way that can come out. No, well, nothing is impossible. However, there's far less chance. It's much better held. I'm going to hold it between the centres. But prior to cutting that out, or when I've done that, carved this away, drilled a hole, I'm going to cut these corners off. Normally I would use a round disc. A round hardboard disc, put that over the top and cut to the disc, and then you'll end up with something perfectly round. That's going to be problematic here because of that high point. So all I'm going to do on this is cut the corners off. That'll get most of the weight out of it. Then we'll start turning it. Okay. So I'll cut them on the bandsaw. The tool that I'm going to be using to carve it away is this little tool here. It's a Proxon angle grinder, small angle grinder, and I've got a chainsaw cutter on there. Now this is the Lancelot, I think. Or the Merlin, one of the two, I can't remember. King Arthur Tools, he sells them. I prefer the chainsaw cutter because I get 8 cuts, okay? And the other thing is, I'm not felling trees, so I actually sharpen these with a diamond, so they'll cut really cleanly. Especially, I can use this for texturing as well. It's a neat little texturing tool. I'm going to show you that. Maybe, yeah, I think the next video is going to be texturing on surfaces and surface embellishment. So, switch it on, way eye safety, of course. Just going to put that up against the flat of the banjo. Switch it on, variable speed. I want it on the faster speed, and we're just going to carve away this part of the wood so I can get the step center in without it touching anywhere. Just cut into that shoulder nicely. Neat little tool this, handy to have, especially for this kind of thing. Cut a little bit of that shoulder away, it's not going to do any harm. We've got to cut it anyway when we start to hollow. Okay, that should be sufficient to get the drill the hole. Now I'm going to cut the corners off, and we'll come and mount it. See you in a minute. Okay, the first cut we have to do, that is the extreme point, the highest point. We're going to make a cut in this direction as opposed to that direction. And the reason for that is because this way it's going to support the fibres, support the timber. If you make a cut in that direction, you could break this out very easily. I've got to turn this really fast. I'm going to be cutting for just that section and then missing for all that, then hitting that again. So the faster that's going, within reason, and bearing in mind this is down to your confidence as well, but the faster that's turning, the easier it's going to be. Quite simple. That bevel, as usual, has to follow the outside profile. Do not be cutting on the tip of the tool, you'll end up with lines. That bevel should float behind the cut, just like the sole of a plane. So let's turn this on. Turn it up slowly. There's a few squeaks and things like that. I'm not too concerned. It's tight between centres. Let's ease the speed up. Now it might go out of balance. Well, if it does, what we'll do is turn the speed faster. That may bounce it up. If it doesn't, we'll know about it. Then turn the speed down quickly. A little bit out of balance. Let's see if we can go through it. Ah, there we go. That's not too bad. That's better still. Bevel, small, careful cut. Okay, I'm into that shoulder. Just going to move position. As you can see, I'm just leaning through. Let's take the next level. Excellent. So far, so good. Again, another small cut. Look where my finger is. I'm not turning down here. I've got no control there. That little finger's just wrapped around the tip of the tool. Pick that cut up. The bevel's floating behind the cut. Let's just stop that and have a look. Okay, nice clean cut there. This wood's actually cutting beautifully, and there's some really nice figure in there. We've still got a flat here, a flat there. I need to make another cut down here, and that's going to be, let me see. Okay, it's going to be about there. So I'm going to switch it on, make another cut. I'm basically going to get this to the round. We'll see what we've got left, and then start to put some of the outside shape in. This has got me excited. This is nice, great piece of wood. That off, have a look. Right, it's totally round now. I'm going to wet it again, just with the alcohol. Just want to see what's in there. Wow, there's all that cat paw. Beautiful. Not so much around here, it doesn't matter. There's still some nice figure. More cat paw wrapping around there. Got a nice clean cut here. Clean cut. Nice flat surface. The bevel was in exactly the right position. If you're on the point there, there's a chance you can break those out. So that's going to be gorgeous. I'm going to move the tool rest around to here now, and start to make, I want to take some of this, balance it up, I want to take that corner off. Then what I'm going to do is come back to here and start to form the curve that I want in there. I'm going to hold it on a big chuck, leave a shoulder, and then at the very end, hopefully, yeah, there'll be a way of re-chucking this so we can return the foot at the very end. Okay, so ball gouge, going to make a draw cut this way. Do you know what, to be honest, normally, let me say, normally you would make a cut in that direction. This is roughing it out. I want to make a cut in this direction. The grain is running all over the place, so it's not going to be too critical on this. So let's go. That's balanced it up. It's not kicking half as much now. Okay, we've got to consider this. What I'm going to do is, instead of putting the foot there, that dictates where the foot's going to be. I've predetermined that. What I'm going to do is make the curve down here determine where the foot's going to be. I'm going to measure it. I know what size I need it to be. I'm going to let that curve dictate. Excuse me. You could put the foot there, make this curve, and it might not look, it might look too heavy, it might look wrong. So I'm going to let this curve dictate where the foot's going to be. Okay, I've already set my dividers. Let me just reach out of shot. That's the diameter that I want, so I know that's the diameter. I want to leave a little shoulder. So what we're going to do is move the camera around to there so you can see the profile as I'm turning it. Be with you in just a minute.